Welcome in, everyone, to our first mock draft of the 2021 season. I have Mr. Matthew Scott with us. I've also got Brandon Haye with us. I am Jack Neary, and I'm really excited for our fantasy football first mock draft. I've been working over the past couple days and trying to get better at it, but I'm just going to let the draft fall to me. Before we get started, the best sports content on the internet comes from the everydayfan.com. Go there for football, basketball, wrestling, college football content starting to heat up. Fantasy football. We're in the off season. We're putting out everything we possibly can for you guys, researching by the day and the moment. Am I right, fellas?
Very, very true. I mean, the content we're writing is phenomenal, and I know me and you would cover kind of redraft for fantasy football, and Brendan's doing a phenomenal job with the dynasty side of fantasy football.
Yeah, there's tons of great content on the site, and I'm so happy that I could join in the last month. It's been great so far.
Good. I'm glad you're having a good time. I'm glad. I'm again really excited. This is our first mock draft, and we'll be doing many more because things, as we know, right? We're fluid, right? Bruce Lee always said, "Be water." Right. And it's always a fluid situation, and we're learning more things about players as training camp moves on. Maybe there's an injury. Maybe it's not an injury. Maybe this wide receiver running back is beating out the others, but we're going to go with what we have right now. July, right? We're right before fireworks. Let's have a good time, fellas. You ready?
Ready.
All right.
I'm ready.
So before we went live, we drew straws. I just want to give you guys an idea. I took the 5th spot. I got semi-lucky. Matthew's at 7 and Brandon's at 10. All right, we will be defending our positions for players that we take. And hopefully you guys gain some information from this. All right, we're going to start this draft. Oh. Dalvin Cook went first. Derrick Henry, Christian McCaffrey. Oh, it's on to me. All right, so Dalvin Cook went first. It wasn't Christian McCaffrey, and Christian McCaffrey's been going first in every mock draft. I believe Stevie Wonder's drafting Christian McCaffrey. Hasn't seen him yet. Doesn't matter. He's drafting him. Everybody's drafting him. But in this one, we went Dalvin Cook, followed by Derrick Henry, followed by McCaffrey, then Jonathan Taylor, then it's me. And I'll tell you, this one for me is pretty easy. There's a lot of question marks out there, right? You've got Saquon Barkley. You know, he's coming off the ACL. You have Nick Chubb, obviously. Had a great season last year, but we're doing PPR, so he doesn't catch the ball as much. You know, Alvin Kamara is also there, and he's got quarterback questions. Tyreek Hill, Ezekiel Elliott, they said, has been looking excellently in camp. And by the way, Ezekiel Elliott is going to be on Hard Knocks, right, fellas? I don't know if you saw that.
I'm looking forward to the Cowboys on Hard Knocks.
I'm not, because Zeke Elliott's price is going to become very expensive after that. That's just how I feel, right, Brandon?
Yeah, I definitely. I'm wondering if he's ever going to wear a full shirt on Hard Knocks because he loves those half belly shirts. So I'm wondering if we're ever going to see him in a full shirt.
So I'm going to go with the guy that I believe breaks more tackles than anybody. And even though I don't believe in his quarterback, I think that he can get the ball 3 yards out of his hands. And that is Alvin Kamara.
Okay. My guy at the moment, in terms of the running backs left, we know Zeke is looking good in camp. But as we know from the draft leftover, my man's leftover, ranked 7th in running backs, Nick Chubb.
Oh,
he's a phenomenal. Nick Chubb, phenomenal running back, as we know. Even with a 1-2 punch with Kareem Hunt, he's still the guy, and he's going to be the best running back.
How do you feel about that, Brandon? Does he take your guy?
I really like Nick Chubb. I didn't expect him to fall to me at 10, but I definitely like Chubb. And even though they split time, I really like Chubb. So now it's here to me at 10. So one thing I like to do when I'm near the end is I like to wait on running back and kind of stack up other positions. So I'm going to actually look at wide receiver and go to one of the receivers I think is just going to get a ton of targets. And
can I ask you a question really quick? Would
Sure.
you consider at this range, because his numbers were there, would you consider Travis Kelce a wide receiver?
I
For our
would.
audience.
I would definitely. I would. I'm not sure, if it would definitely if it was tight end premium, I would go with him. But I think Kelsey, in the first round, is definitely someone, especially at the back end, is someone I would consider, especially because he's pretty much a top 10 regular wide receiver. Just how many passes he catches. But we have Stephon Diggs, DK Metcalf, DeAndre Hopkins. I like all three. But I'm going to go with Stephon Diggs because I just think he's going to get a million targets. He's the main go-to guy in that offense, and I really like him. So I'm going to go with Diggs.
I do too. And you know what? I watched that Pittsburgh game last year. Stephon Diggs took over a football game. I mean, Pittsburgh had a great defense. He just looked at Josh Allen and went, just throw me the ball. I mean, nobody does that anymore.
Right, definitely. And it's on me again, and I'm going to double up on receivers. It's one of the guys that I talked about before.
We did lose Kelce and Metcalf.
Yeah, so I'm going to go DeAndre Hopkins. I think same as Diggs with the Bills. The Cardinals are going to throw it to Hopkins a lot. I do like Rondale Moore there, but I still think Hopkins is going to get the main share of all those targets.
Matthew, how do you feel about that?
Well, he took my favorite guy, but I knew it was very unlikely he would still be there.
Way to go, Brandon. Talk us through this, Matthew, because we're starting to get a different tier of running backs.
For me, I feel wide receivers, we're coming into wide receivers now, so I feel I can wait around. But J.K. Dobbins, for me, I know obviously Gus Edwards signed a 2-year contract. I know there's talks of Todd Gurley going there, but they are trying to make Lamar Jackson more of a pocket passer. And I just think J.K. Dobbins' volume goes up this year, and he's electric when he gets touches. Now that Mark Ingram's gone, but he wasn't heavily involved, I think I'm going to go for J.K. Dobbins because I just think he becomes a top 10 running back this year.
Okay, yeah, and you know what? We're big into EVs too, so electric's good, right?
Electric, he's the man.
All right, so we lost J.K. Dobbins, followed by Joe Mixon, and
I would have gone for Joe Mixon, but I just think Dobbins gets more fantasy points because he gets more touchdowns.
I am on the clock. If it were me, I would have taken Joe Mixon because the hype train is starting to leave the station. Brandon, who would you have taken there?
I love Dobbins, obviously, but just with Lamar, he gets so many touchdowns. I probably would have gone with Mixon because there's less competition for rushing touchdowns there. But I do love J.K. Dobbins, especially in Dynasty. I think he's going to be good for a lot of years to come.
Okay, so I have a quick comeback here. I got a minute 14 on the clock. I've got Cam Akers. I can double back at running back, and I think Cam Akers is going to have a monster season. I can go with A.J. Brown. The knee is a little concerning. I'm not saying it's going to play, but it could. You've got Justin
and Calvin Ridley's had foot surgery.
And Calvin Ridley's had foot surgery, and he's a cutter and he's a route runner. Calvin Ridley scares me a little bit more than all of those others. I can get another running back coming back. I can also get wide receivers that I like. So I'm going to take Cam Akers because I think there's value in that Rams team. What do you think about that, Brandon?
I love that. I love Cam Akers. The hype is really starting to go. He's the 9th or 10th running back. I've been hearing he's been going, top 6, top 7. So for him to fall there for you, I think that's really good value.
All right, so at this point, I have to take a wide receiver. Okay, I can go. If I were to take a running back here, I would take Josh Jacobs. I would not take Miles Sanders. I believe that's good. That Philly committee is going to absolutely, you're not going to be able to go to church on Sunday because you're going to have to keep looking at what Philly player is going to be playing, right? If your hair like mine is thinning, the rest of it's going. Am I crazy to be thinking that?
No.
I think you can go to Michael Thomas because I think Jameis Winston's just going to throw to one player. I just think but I don't want to double Saints. Okay. Again, I maybe not be able to go to church if I'm doubling Saints. Or maybe I double Saints and take challenges later. Maybe I do that. But I won't. I'm not going to take Josh Jacobs either because although I think he's getting a lot of touches, I don't know what that Raiders team looks like. Right, Brandon? That just –
Yeah, the Raiders kind of who knows what's going on with them. And so you think Jameis is going to start for the Saints? I just don't know what's going to happen with their quarterback situation.
I think he does. And then
I think they have to start. Taysom Hill goes back to being the Swiss Army knife.
All right,
so in camp, that's what they've said.
I've got 30 seconds left on the clock, and I'm going to tell you, I'm going to go with a guy to where I know what his situation is, and I know whose quarterback is, and I know that they like to run the ball, but they also got to chuck it up to him. I'm going Mike Evans. I think he's safe. Everybody likes to go, and overanalyze Mike Evans every single year. And all he does is give you 1,000 yards and 10 touchdowns. Like, are we going to complain?
We know I'm going wide receiver. Jack, previous conversations, I have built this guy up. You don't agree with me. Plays with Justin Herbert.
Don't do it.
Wide receiver 1.
Don't do
this guy is going to be huge.
Brandon, he's giving us gifts. Watch his pick. Watch what he's going to do. Oh, watch he's going to do it. Go ahead. Oh, please defend him a little bit longer. Oh, God. There he did it. Brett, look at him. Look at what Brandon just did. He went, oh, jeez.
I mean, I really like Keenan Allen, but there's still other guys on the board that I would take over him. And actually, I'm gonna triple up at wide receiver because this is one guy that I love, and this is even though Fitz magic can turn into Fitz tragic. This is still the best quarterback he's gonna have had.
Terry McLaurin's gonna be
with
huge.
Scary Terry with Terry McLaurin.
Yeah.
I think he's gonna have a big year, and they're just gonna. He's finally gonna have a quarterback that's gonna just throw it up to him. You know, he's gonna have more targets. So I really like him. So I'm gonna go with Terry McLaurin right here.
Okay, that's a great pick. For me personally, I would have gone Julio Jones because I believe that he's going to be Julio Jones of old.
Yeah, I think Julio's going to have a bounce-back year. I think he's going to be really good. I just don't know what's going to happen with him and A.J. Brown, how the touchdowns really go with them. And now I guess I finally have to start looking at running back. I have 3 really good receivers. I really don't love this guy, but he had a good end to last year, and the value here is just too good to pass up. So I'm going to go with David Montgomery. I think he's going to be very good, and getting him in the 4th round I think is a steal. He's the best of what's left. I think Chris Carson will have a good year also, but I think Montgomery has the higher ceiling and probably will score more touchdowns.
David Montgomery's a spry guy to me. I like David Montgomery.
Yeah, Brandon, you just spoke about my guy. Chris Carson's back after an injury. They want to run the ball. Rashad Penny is kind of insignificant to that team. My guy is Chris Carson. I think he bounces back. He's going to get 1,000 yards again, and I think he's going to get 10 plus touchdowns. So that is the man that I'm going after, and I want to stack up. We know running back is hard to come through later in the year.
You did take Chris Carson, and Darren Waller just went. Right, so, let's take a look what I have. I can take Josh Allen. There's already 2 quarterbacks off the board of Patrick Mahomes and Lamar Jackson. I like to wait.
And Kyler Murray as well. Kyler
Murray, okay, yes. I like to wait on him. So I'm going to take a look at my running backs, and I already have 2 good running backs. So 2 running backs that I can at least count on, If my car breaks down or I need a couple of bucks. These running backs I can count on, right? They'll take care of me. But I do need another wide receiver. Mike Evans isn't just going to do it. Do I want Godwin? That's 2 guys on the same team. I don't necessarily love doing that. Maybe I would take a chance later on in the draft. But let's have the conversation about tight end here because, if Darren Waller's gone, Kelsey's gone, Kittle's gone. After the next couple tight ends, we kind of start taking a slide. And if we slide over here, I only have a couple picks. I've got what? I take this pick and I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. After 8 picks, I should still be able to get a good value wide receiver, shouldn't I, guys?
Yeah, I mean, there is huge depth, especially middle of the draft where you can pick up good wide receivers.
So I know he's not in the